Hi, hello, police.
For what city?
This is for Vaughan.
And what's the emergency?
Armed robbery in progress. I saw people pointing guns from my backyard. I saw outlines of people 1.5 minutes ago.
The call came over the air, and the first thing I noticed for the call was that it was a priority 1. It was a robbery home invasion, and there was one remark added by a dispatcher that said, one person pointing a gun at another. With that call remark added, I'm thinking the worst. I'm thinking it's possibly a kidnapping. I'm thinking that this is possibly a homicide. I noticed my location to where the call came in was very close. I knew that there was going to be a very real chance that we were going to be encountering the suspects.
3210-4, the black sedan has not left the scene yet. Still on scene at 33 Ventura Way.
When we got to the street, I was pulling down the street. I was following my partner. There was 2 vehicles parked side by side. Both my partner and I activated emergency equipment, and the vehicles both decided to flee from us. In a split-second decision, it was either create intentional contact with this vehicle and prevent them from leaving, or possibly seeing a victim get taken away from the scene.
Second vehicle was able to stop. 3 males came out. They have 1 in custody, 2 ran north and then west.
My first initial thought process following the collision was get up and get out of the vehicle and assess any injuries. However, the suspects decided to get out of the vehicle and flee.
Get out of the car! Show me your hands now! Show me your hands!
I knew in that moment that it was exigent. It was still early in the evening. There was a very real possibility that there was maybe a family in their backyard. I was able to catch up to them on foot and effect an arrest on the first suspect.
On the ground now! Put your hands behind your back!
The second suspect decided to try and flee back through where I was standing. So it was at that point that I felt that there was no situation where I wasn't going to have to arrest both individuals at once.
4336, I got 2 in custody. If there's any available units to help me in the backyard, I could use another set of handcuffs.
I have units, a lot of them on the way.
Just listening to the radio, getting there, you can tell it was a hot call. Officers needed assistance trying to catch multiple suspects that were trying to flee the scene.
Can you guys air too? I have 1 male that had cuffs on. He's to the rear. He's no longer in the backyard. I'm with the other male with cuffs to the rear now. Air, take me on the lookout for 1 with cuffs to the rear.
The scene just kept developing more and more. We were finding suspects fleeing to the north. There were suspects fleeing to the south.
The updates I'd received on the radio on my way is that, there was people in custody. I had no idea how many are outstanding. Is anybody outstanding? So there was a lot to take in as I arrived on scene.
Hey, calling you to standby. I need the air. I need to know if there's any outstanding parties at this time. Somebody please confirm, and if so, last direction of travel.
I didn't know where the officers were at the time either, and somebody had flagged us down and said there's people still in the house.
How is possible 2 suspects in the house?
Any available units to the house for possible suspects still on scene?
So I got there in a few minutes, along with one of my detective constables. I noticed a couple of uniformed officers running into the front door of the residence. At that point, I felt this is where I could make the best impact by going into the residence and seeing what was going on. As I approached the front door, I saw an individual, a male, and he was covered in blood, head to toe. He had a large gash on his forehead. He said that there are additional suspects down in the basement of the residence. So we formed up at the top of the stairs, not knowing what we were going to encounter down in the basement.
And we just yelled commands for them to come out, show us their hands. The first suspect came to the stairs with his hands up, but was not listening to the commands and very skittish and started to walk away kind of out of sight. At that point, we don't know what he's doing. One of the officers decide that we had to, take action at this point.
We formed up and carefully went down the steps. We immediately arrested the individual that had surrendered, and we observed 2 additional suspects. Those 2 were quickly placed under arrest. We found out later that they were trying to drill into a safe that the victim had in the basement.
47, 3 in custody.
3 parties in custody at 2111.
Air 2 did a fantastic job. Obviously, the eye from the sky, they get the much bigger picture than we do on the ground. As a result of that, we were able to apprehend further outstanding subjects that were hunkered down, hiding in backyards.
And through that gate, it'll be straight through to the back along the back fence.
4136, we have 2 in custody.
2 in custody at 2158. Good job, guys.
When I saw these individuals handcuffed and waiting to be transported, it was extremely gratifying.
And I think YRP should be very proud of the training that they provide for their officers. The first 2 responding officers, which were Brett Walton and Edan Godden, did a fantastic job. Brett Walton was still in his first year on the road. Like, he'd been signed off just a few months.
When I responded to this call, I had been working by myself as a fully signed off police constable for approximately 5 months. I felt that with the training and the scenario-based training that I was ready and confident for this type of call at York Regional Police.